Okay, boys and girls, hello and welcome to day three that we have been apart. We are in chapter three, lesson 9, and hopefully you have already finished lessons 1 and 2 and not playing catch up. It's going to be very difficult for you to learn all of this if you try to do it all in one day. So make sure you're watching these videos every day, doing the work that I've assigned you and keeping a good pace. Okay, we don't want to rush. We also don't want to put it off and do it another day. Okay, so we are moving right along in this chapter, talking about tally charts and picture graphs and things like that. And make sure you remember what a survey is, what is a tally, what is a tally mark, what is another way of saying data, and what is the difference between a tally chart and a picture graph? All of these were answered in the first two videos, and if you don't go back and watch them, there's still another way. In your take-home folder, you should have the glossary from book 1, that thick stack of pages that explains these words and many, many more in English and in Spanish. So you've got two resources, the videos and the glossary. Make sure you know these because they will be tested later. Okay, let's move on. So today we have a lesson that really isn't that difficult. We're learning how to analyze picture graphs. In the first two lessons, we learned how to ask questions and make tally charts and picture graphs. Now we want to analyze them. We want to understand them. So I record and analyze data. Well, let's look at the favorite dinner chart down here. Oh boy, I think I'm going to get hungry again while teaching you. And under that, of course, we have our key, which tells us that each food item equals one vote. Later, one food item might represent 3 votes or 8 votes, but for now it's just one. So, people were asked what their favorite food item was. And we can see that there were 4 for spaghetti, 4 for tacos, 2 for chicken, and 1 for meatloaf. I can't believe meatloaf only got 1 vote. Now, before we answer the question at the bottom, what I'd like to ask you is, how many people participated in this survey? How would you figure that out? Well, we would just go ahead and count everything that we see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, it's just a question that you might get asked. So, which dinner is the least favorite? Well, we look at all of the numbers that we have here if we don't want to look at the pictures, and the lowest number equals the least favorite. So, meatloaf. Not too difficult, right? Let's move on to the next page. So now if you look at the blue box at the top, it says you can use a picture graph to answer questions. Now we have a picture graph there on the right. It says favorite pet. And there are 3 pets there, fish, dog, and cat. And again, we have to look at the key. We always have to look at the key. Each animal picture equals 1 vote. So the question is, what pet is the favorite? So the question is, what pet is the favorite? And how many votes does each picture show? Well, the favorite pet is the one that's going to have the most votes, right? So we can see the fish has the most 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we would write the word fish right there. I know it's already written in. And then, how many votes does each picture show? This is a tricky one. How many votes does each picture show? What do you think? The correct answer is 1. How do you know that? You know it from the key. Each picture equals 1 vote. Okay, now let's move on. In the middle it says, use the data from the graph to answer the questions. And if we look at the title of the graph, which is right here, it says favorite summer activity. Swim, bike ride, inline skate, play basketball. And don't forget, we have to look at the key. Each picture equals 1 vote. So now let's look at question 1. What activity is liked the least? And the answer to that is going to be what? Right, the one that has the fewest pictures. And that's inline skate because it only has 1, 2. Now if we look at question 2, which 2 activities have the same number of votes? And you'll have to write them in. Hopefully, you realized it was bike ride and play baseball. Okay, not difficult, right? And then let's go to question 3. How many people like to swim and play baseball in all? That's a really important part. In all. Usually when we see that, what kind of math are we doing? Hopefully you remember that it's addition. So how many people like to swim and play baseball in all? Well, if we count the swimming marks, we've got 5. And if we count the baseball pictures, we've got 3. And we add, and I know you all know your math facts, that 5 plus 3 equals 7. Ha! I just wanted to see if you were paying attention. Wake up. 5 plus 3 is 8, and that's your answer. Now look all the way down at the bottom. How would you count the votes for bike riding if each picture stood for 2 votes? So imagine, and here's the bike riding row. Imagine each of these pictures was actually a 2. Not 1, but 2. It would almost be like skip counting, which we did way, way back in October or November. Imagine a circle with a 2 in it. So, if each bike picture stood for 2 votes, what would it be? Tell somebody who's in the room near you and see if they can match up with your answer. Let's move on. So now at the top here, it says use the data from the graph to answer the questions. And the title of the graph is How We Get to School. And we have 4 choices. What I want you to do is pause it here and see if you can figure out numbers 4 through 9. When you're ready, click play again. Okay, welcome back. Well, let's look at question 4. How do most students get to school? What are we going to look for? We're going to look for the one that has the most pictures. And hopefully you all can see that walk has the most pictures. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So how do most students get to school? The answer is not 5. The answer is walk. Okay, and this is a little difficult for me to write clearly because I'm doing it with a mouse this time. All right, question 5. How many students ride the bus and ride in cars? Ooh, and is another way of saying plus. So how many students ride the bus and ride in cars? Well, we look at the bus row and we see 1, 2. And how many people ride in cars? 1, 2. No problem here. 2 plus 2 is 4. Number 6. How many students voted? Okay. How did you figure this one out? Hopefully, you counted up all of the items in the picture chart. So I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Did you come up with 10 also? Marvelous. Number 7. How will the graph change if you add another way to get to school? Ooh. What do you think about this one? Let's say we added a 5th way. Let's say we added train. Maybe the results will be the same, but maybe somebody will have chosen train, and maybe we'll have only 1 bus. Or maybe 5 people would like the train. It would change all of the numbers that we have here. Number 8, write a question that can be answered using the data in the picture graph. Oh, I wish we were in the classroom together so I could hear your question. Make a question that I might use on a test. Finally, number 9. Write the number sentence you can use to answer your question. So for my example, number 8, I might say, how many people don't take a car to school? How many people don't take a car to school? That's my question. Now, for my number sentence, I would do something like this. I would add the bus people, that's 2, and the walkers, 2 plus 5 is 7, and the bike, so that's 8. And I'm going to write that down here, 8. My question was, how many people don't take a car? Well, 2 people don't take a car. And am I going to add or subtract? Good. Hopefully you said subtract. 8 minus 2 equals 6. There are so many different questions we could make from this. Okay, let's move on. We're almost finished. Okay, now you've got another graph. Oh, it's pizza again. This is driving me crazy. Look at number 10. 3 more people were surveyed. They all like cheese. What topping is now the favorite? Ooh, think about that. 3 more people were surveyed, and they all like cheese. What topping is now the favorite? Well, here's cheese here, and we have to add 3 more. It's going to take us off the chart. What topping is now the favorite? And let's add another question to it. How many people like the favorite topping? Finally, let's look down at number 11. Carter voted for vegetables. Kylie voted for sausage. Whose favorite pizza topping got more votes? How many more votes? Carter voted for vegetables, which means we've got 3. And Kylie voted for sausage, and that's 2. Whose favorite pizza topping got more votes? How many more votes? I think you can figure this one out, even though it's a brain builder. And finally, write a question about the graph above. Have a friend answer the question. So grab a friend, a brother, a sister, a parent, a grandparent, and make them do some math with you. Okay. And of course, you have homework. Okay, so please have pages 545 and 546 completed today. That's your homework. Good luck and have a wonderful day. The end.